Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Friday. I hope everyone has had a good week and has some fun stuff planned for the weekend. Myself, my week has been busy as always. Ever changing schedules with changes to kids' virtual learning and whatnot, but trying to weather the storm as everyone else is and just take it in stride and um, just deal with what we can do. That's the best you can do with. And This weekend, don't really have too much going on. Have some birthday parties. Probably gonna do some workouts. Probably gonna do some yard work. It's actually been raining here for first time in a while, and that has knocked a lot of leaves off the trees. So I have a lot of yard work to do. Get the leaves out of there. And also, I have two gigantic maple trees that just continuously rain acorns down into my backyard, which I need to clean up as well. But anyways, that's what I'm not what I'm here to talk about. I've been in my constant quest for more knowledge. I've been taking another course this time from Dr. Ben House and Dr. Tommy Wood on nutrition. Kind of a different perspective on nutrition, more focused around athletes. But Dr. House has is a great lecturer, and the course is really entertaining. But he started off the course talking about why every diet turns into cupcakes, and I thought that was kind of a ingenious way of phrasing things and quite insightful actually when you think about it. And if you think about why people might turn to different types of diets, right? Whether it's paleo or vegan or vegetarian or gluten free or um, keto or carnivore or whatever it might be. Lots of times people turn to these diets because they have beliefs that, oh, this, the way I'm currently eating with all these donuts and muffins and cereals and cupcakes and cookies and whatnot, that's just causing me all kinds of trouble. It's I'm eating all this bad food and I want to eat a way that's much cleaner, right? Quote unquote cleaner, right? But if you step back and look at it, and actually, when most people start these types of diets, they make dietary shifts. Their diet is cleaner, quote unquote, right? They clean things up, right? They eat whole unprocessed foods, because all these diets have in common pretty much lots of vegetables, proteins, fruits, etc. And but eventually somehow things drift off into them eating the keto-fied or paleo-fied or whatever cupcakes or cookies or cereals, right? I mean, now you can even get paleo cereal, right? And they actually can end up right back in where they started, where they're just not following a diet at all, and they're making paleo donuts and cookies and cupcakes and etc. Right? Why does that happen? Why, if you look at all these diets, whether it's vegan or vegetarian or gluten free or paleo or primal or keto, right? They all have these things in them. You can still make a keto donut. You can still make a keto cookie. You can still make a paleo brownie. Um, you can still have keto and paleo cereal, and right. So there's all these things that are just there in the diet, right? And somehow all the things that we were trying to get away with a kind of a standard American diet are drift into these other ways of eating too. And now I'm eating the same way I was eating before, but they're just high fat or and low carb, or they don't have grains or sugars or processed flour in them, etc. But they're still pretty much the same thing, right? It was the problem with these foods, right? Whether they're paleo or not, or keto or not, or gluten free or not, or vegan or not. The problem with these types of foods is that we can't really distinguish how many calories are in them, right? These foods have a combination of typically a fat and sweetness in them that our brains aren't used to, and when we look at them, we can't really figure out, and when we consume them, we don't get the satiating signals that we normally would, and they're just as processed, whether they're keto, paleo, or vegan or not, um, as a regular cupcake or donut or whatever, and allows us to overeat it. Um, and so why do we come up with these ways of eating and somehow still end up back where we started? Um, and The answer has to do with making babies. The whole reason why we eat food, the whole reason why we are living from an ancestral point of view is to live long enough so that we can pass on our genes to the next generation and continue our species. And a great way of making sure that happens is by making sure you have enough energy on board. Um, if you don't have enough energy on board, you're going to die. So when um, our ultimate goal is to basically survive long enough that we can make a baby. And so we want to make that as easy as possible. And a great way to do that is to eat a lot of food, because who knows when the next time we're not going to see the food, right? That's what our monkey brains say. And so we may start off when we make a dietary change eating very clean, whole, unprocessed foods, etc. But eventually we figure out a way to make cupcakes. We make paleo cupcakes, we make keto cupcakes, we make vegan cupcakes, because that gets us more calories, and that gets us, therefore makes it, ensures that we would survive longer, and therefore would give us a better chance at procreating. So our brains are working against us. We're so smart that we figured out how to introduce cupcakes no matter what type of way you're eating, and because that gives us a lot more calories in that, and therefore we want to then we have a better chance of making a baby. So all that said is basically this kind of harkens back to um, two of my kind of favorite books on this topic of why we eat the way we do, and that's Wired to Eat and The Hungry Brain. If you haven't read those books, it really dives into kind of genetically why we're predisposed to, I don't think that's the right word, but predisposed to eating highly processed, calorically dense foods. It's because it ensures our survival. It ensures that we're able to live long enough to make a baby. And so at the same time, we're extremely smart, unlike a rabbit or other types of animals. We can figure out ways to take certain foods and make them super tasty and super calorically dense, and therefore give us a better chance to survive. But it's all just because that's what we're genetically wired to do. We're genetically wired to find the most calorically dense foods, eat as much of it as we possibly can, ensuring our survival so that we can pass on our genes. And so every diet does turn into cupcakes. Dr. House is right. Right, every diet, even carnivore, right? I think carnivore is a little hard to imagine. You're just eating meat supposedly, but now I've heard that honey is also part of a carnivore diet. So I'm pretty sure you can make a meat cupcake and shove a bunch of ground beef into a cupcake tin and cook that, and then drizzle a little bit of honey on it, and there you have your carnivore cupcake. So and I'm sure eventually someone's going to come up with some crazy way of turning meat into some sugar something or other substitute. It will happen, I guarantee it. And it's funny how these things evolve. Even I've only been doing this for eating kind of paleo, primal, etc. for 5 or 6 years, and when I first started out, there weren't a lot of you know, foods out there, right? I mean, I completely went years without having things like mayonnaise and ketchup and barbecue sauce and etc. Right? And now I look at the space and I can go to my local grocery store and I can get paleo mayonnaise and barbecue sauce and ketchup and mustard, and I can find paleo, fake oatmeal. I can find um, paleo cupcakes. I can find paleo brownie mix. I can find paleo frosting at my local grocery store, where the only chance I ever had of having any of those things 4 years ago was by making them myself, and I just didn't have the time to do it, so I just went without them. But we find ways to do these things, right? Because they are tasty, they are calorically dense, and that satisfies our primal instinct to get as much food on board so that we can possibly have the hope of procreating one day. So that's just something to think about. I think I've probably talked about this topic a number of times, but it's another way of thinking about it. I like the way of thinking how every diet turns into cupcakes, and why that actually happens. So next time you're thinking about, well, why do I, kind of drift away from, this clean version of my diet into this maybe not so clean diet version of my diet where I'm eating, you know, cupcakes and donuts and cereals and whatnot. And it's really just because that's genetically what we want, our brain is telling us to do. There's no shame in it. You shouldn't beat yourself up about it. You shouldn't think there's something wrong with you. It's every human's drive to do that. And once you realize that, it can help you be a little bit more mindful about why you're making these choices, a little bit easier on yourself, and also helps rationalize it and course correct, right, without any guilt or shame or beating yourself up or anything like that. So that's what I want to talk about today: cupcakes and babies. Fun little topic, and hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. If you need help, please reach out. Leave comments on the videos. Go to my homepage, my website, rjbhealth.coach, and there you can schedule a discovery call. We can chat one-on-one, see if you need some, if you're interested in getting some help from a health coaching point of view. Or if you just want to get some weekly content just like this delivered to your inbox, sign up for my newsletter there too. And you get these videos emailed to you every week, so you don't have to look out for them online. Hope everyone has a good weekend. And I'm not going to say go eat some cupcakes, but hey, go make some carnivore cupcakes. Talk to you later.